Hello, viewers. This is Tim Michael from Screen Read. This is my 624 podcast. This is my 624 podcast. Like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to breathe too hard during this RE podcast recording as well, not to cause any RE feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language. If you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language. If you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, that means you get to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into the topic of this podcast. Lately, it seems like DC and Marvel it had been cranking out a lot of DC and Marvel had been doing been having ups and downs with their movie universes, live action movie universes. So basically, it seems like they're more focused on the live action movie, being these heroes and villains to into live actions instead of focusing on bringing them back to, or instead of focus on bringing these heroes and villains to animation. So this brings up the topic of today is why DC and Marvel should rebuild their animated TV show universe. Now, remember the '90s? Remember how the '90s were a lot of good superhero cartoons. Batman. I remember when the first episode Batman came out, it was the shit, and that when Batman the animated series came out, it was the shit. Or back in the late '80s, the Sugar Friends and whatnot, and those old school Marvel cartoons, Spider Man and all them shit, blah blah. But honestly, I miss those. I miss cartoons like this. Nowadays, it's hard to find a good. It's right now. It's hard to find a good DC. Nowadays, it's hard to find a good DC cartoon show, a good DC cartoon show, and a good decent and a good Marvel cartoon show. So basically, it's hard to find a DC and Marvel comic book shows nowadays because basically Marvel Studios and DC Studios are more focused on live action than they are on animation. So basically, remember, like I said, remember Batman the animated series came out. It was the real game changer during the '90s. Back in '80s, we had the Sugar Friends. Basically all them and blah blah blah. What Hanna Barbera. But when the '90s came by, Batman the animated series, after the live action Batman movie came out, they decided to let's see if we can reinvent a superhero car reinvent superhero cartoons. So basically Batman the animated series came out, and it had expanded to giving us give us Superman the Superman animated series. It spun off to the Superman the animated series cartoon, then the Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited, and also you would count Static as well. Static. Static did have some crossover with the Justice League and whatnot, blah blah. So basically, and Batman Beyond and Zelda. Well, I would not say uh, basically. Zelda was more a spin-off from Batman Beyond that just focused on that killer robot turned Peach, who wants to be free and to live his life and whatnot. But then we had X Men the animated series. At that time, we had X Men the X Men animated series was on. Then we had that '90s Fantastic Four cartoon that is fully explore. Then we had the '90s Iron Man cartoon, and then we had the Hulk cartoon. Back in the '90s, and with the Hulk cartoon, it had expanded to say, oh, that Iron Man and the Fantastic Four are in the same universe. Then when the Spider-Man animated series came out, the '90s one, and it fully explained like, oh, all these shows are connected. So basically, the animated series, with the Fantastic Four, the animated series, all these, and Iron Man were all connected. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, I'm really tired of waiting for two. A movie takes, it takes a really long time for a movie to come out. Basically, at least 2 years for a movie to come out. Well, basically, that's how long it will take. Average movie takes at least 2 years to finish and come out. So basically, with animation, you might at the most you might 9 months at most, or maybe a year for a new animated or for it takes less time for a animated series to be done than an average movie. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, I think it's time for DC and Marvel to rebuild their animated TV universe. Now we all know that the X Men '90 series is coming out soon, next year, and basically hoping that most likely it's going to do very well. Hope that it'll lead to bringing back other cartoon series, like maybe bring back the Spider-Man series from the '90s and getting a true final series, and probably expand on that with some other Marvel shows, or bring back, do a new version of the Fantastic Four, do a new version of the Hulk, do a new anime version of the Hulk, do a new anime version of the Fantastic Four, or just bring back the old '90s cartoon, bring back the old '90s Hulk, bring back the old '90s Fantastic Four, bring back the old '90s, Iron Man cartoon, and rebuild that universe back up again. And I also recently, Cartoon Network Adult Swim had that new Superman series that done very well. I'm hoping that it did very well. The second season will probably feature more Batman. If that does well, maybe Batman will get. We might get a new Batman series from that new Superman series as well. So basically, my point is, Marvel and DC should rebuild the animated universes, the animated TV universes, to keep people interested in these superheroes and villains that we love. Basically confident, they can still work on the live action stuff, but just give us give us some animation to tide us over until the live action stuff comes out. So basically, like, hey, I can't wait to that new Superman movie, but that Superman cartoon will tie me over until that new Superman movie comes out. So basically, don't get me wrong, DC has a good animated universe, but it only focuses on movies only. So basically, DC does have a good animated universe, but in most almost of it focused on animated movies only. So basically, I feel like DC should take advantage of that new Superman cartoon and rebuild its animated universe with that new Superman cartoon, and and Marvel should take advantage of the new X Men cartoon and rebuild its animated TV universe with that new X Men cartoon. So basically, this is what I'm really hoping for here, to hoping that that Marvel and DC will take these new take these new series, this new these cartoon series, and use them to rebuild their animated TV universes again. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you want to see Marvel and DC rebuild their own, no, rebuild their animated TV universe? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, sign off for Screen Reviews. One.